I hunger for more. My belly still isn't satiated from all that lean Eevee beef. I honestly thought I'd have caught a lot more heat from the rabid Eevee fans. Them little demons the teachers had to enforce a 2-meter radius around because they bite. Yeah, you know who you are. I'm a little surprised. All the smoke I've been getting from disrespecting your favorite Funko Pop 8-pack deal still isn't hitting me. Think I need a few more tokes. I just couldn't get enough of putting apparently like 98% of your favorite Eeveelutions not first place. So it looks like I get another crack at disrespecting your favorite little Eevee. I potentially get to continue to verbally slap a slice of cheese in the face of your favorite Pokemon all over again, or with the shiny forms. So if you're unfamiliar, this is a follow-up to my video about the base form Eevee gang. So maybe watch that one first for more context, or afterwards. Actually, nah, go watch the Rivals rank video while you're at it. That one was pretty good, I'm told. This is just going to be mainly about whether or not the shiny is a good alternative look. This time featuring the big man himself. Oh, Eevee, you bloody legend. Get over here. Come on the video, mate. So a little DLC upload. I'm going to rank all 9 Eevees in their shiny forms. I really wanted to give this Eevee a little bit of a rest set. For once. I didn't want to have to bust out the golden shovel and bury Flareon further, but it's really not helping itself here. I know, you could argue, oh, how's Flareon? Why's it gotta be him again? How's this one any different than all the other Eevees that just got a wee little Instagram filter slapped on them? I'm gonna tell you, and it's not up for debate why it's the worst shiny. It's not just debatably an aesthetic downgrade. This is looking more like a genetic downgrade. Flareon's reskin is what happens when an Eevee rejects the Firestone because it clocked onto the old tablet wrapped in cheese trick, then he chundies it up halfway through the evolution cutscene. You can look at it 2 ways. It's either a Flareon who's been punished to be soft-locked on an all-corn diet, or it's the most diesel Eevee in existence. That Eevee lateral raises barbells. I'd love to think of it as this mutated Freakzilla Eevee, but I just can't. I really can't. So out of the 2 ways you can look at it, I see this as Flareon getting downgraded. It's like if Eevee evolved on its own at the same level it learns, I don't know, Swift. Everyone has Eevees specifically to evolve them. Maybe there's been a bulked up normal evolution this entire time, but no one's kept an Eevee around long enough to discover it. Couldn't decide on the stone, could you? Oh, did it not like you enough as a person to grow and evolve? That's it, you took too long. It's evolved into a fatter Eevee. That's what you're stuck with. Signature move, Sand Attack. Leafeon really doesn't have much going for it. And neither does the shiny one, really. If I saw a shiny Leafeon in the wild, with my attention span, I would need a lot more than a little jingle and a 2-second gif of stars flying around it for me to process that I've just experienced a 1 in 4,000 odds encounter. Nah, when they've got shinies this incognito roaming the land, they better come as Steve Harvey presenting it to me like I've won a car on Family Feud. It's like you caught a photo of a standard Leafeon mid-photosynthesis, like catching your dog yawning. Now, this strain of Eevee, you can't fool me, I see it in their minds. You've been taking one too many tokes that sunlight, haven't you? Now he's a bit wavy. I can at least say compared to Flareon, it looks like a healthy glow. Shiny Flareon looks like an Eevee that's taking the kind of supplements that turn you into a Ninja Turtle. Shiny Leafeon, it just looks like it's been on the vitamin D supplements. Very much unlike what I'd say about the base forms, Jolteon isn't far off the Flareon tier at all. I've got to throw it into the pile of barely even a shiny form. It just looks like you decided to take your dog with you to glow-in-the-dark mini-golf. They both just look like the legendary beasts, you know, when you walk in on them in the original Johto games and they're looking all dusty, still in bed after thousands of years. What time of day do you call this? Look how bright it is outside. Look at that. Ho-Oh's flying about, isn't he? Yeah, that's it. You just get out of here. Get out of it. Been in the loft for 1,000 years. They lost a bit of saturation, but I wouldn't say Jolteon is hindered that much by this slight change. But as much as I do kinda rate its little radioactive glow, there was a lot more potential there. With the early gen shinies, you have to consider just how much thought were they really putting into them when the whole concept was first introduced. But in hindsight, I reckon they should have done with the Kanto Eevees what they did with the Galarian legendary birds. You give the core trio, give the boys a good little palette swap. You could have Vaporeon and Flareon's colors, Flareon and Jolteon's, and then you're left with a real banger. Vaporeon giving Jolteon the blue lightning shiny. Easy money. Plenty more plushy revenue there for yous. I can't tell if green Espeon bothers me. I can see it being polarizing. I mean, I'm very 50-50 on it myself. But you can't deny, it is merry. It is a bold change. They did something, maybe the laziest thing possible for shiny Pokemon outside of turning the saturation down, but it's still only the second laziest thing. They didn't just turn Espeon from a shade of Queen Pink to Ballet Slipper Pink or hexadecimal number #F79AC0. Thank you very much. I can give it the benefit of the doubt. Espeon is a victim to Big Daddy time here. I can easily assume it's a shiny that's just aged poorly from the overexposure to this exact kind of color palette we've had for the past 7 generations with the shinies. You'd think with such psychic powers, it'd have enough intuition to have foresaw the inevitable slime that was coming once it got up on stage at the Nickelodeon Awards. I'm just saying, like, you'd never catch Umbreon letting that happen to him. He'd never embarrass himself on national TV like that. But the neon green I can live with. Like, it's not Espeon's fault. It's more of a trendsetter of the green. Like the entire country of Ireland and Shrek. Espeon laid the groundwork for what feels like half the Pokedex having to be a green shiny. Too many of them fake plastic Paddymons whacking out the shiny forms on the 17th of March clout chasing. I imagine the only way you get a hold of this Espeon is if you evolve Eevee in the daytime through friendship. But the thing that finally made your Eevee happy enough to evolve was because you chucked it a sour warhead just to see what happened. It's just one of them things you do. As humans, you know, you say animal cruelty, I say it's the natural order of things. Like them videos you see of people pouring whiskey down a fish. Or giving a crab a ciggy. Welcome to the real world. The one color swap from the original trio that works well went for the Espeon approach with a full new seasonal coat of... Does Vaporeon have fur? I don't know, I kind of thought it'd have the texture of like slapping a wet yoga ball. At least one of the Kanto trio actually made an effort for the assignment, you know? The other pair of them half-assed it. They showed up to the Halloween sesh in a white shirt they got from Primark for £2 and touched it up with a red felt tip for 10 seconds. Vaporeon actually put a bit of effort into it. They rocked up with the full green morph suit. They painted Plankton's eye and wrapped it around their belly and... Wait, no, I did that. But the purple is looking smooth. It only reaffirms what I said in the first video. If I were an Eevee, Vaporeon is the one I'd most want to turn into. Obviously, practically speaking, because of its water bending properties, powers, and you know, swimming ability. Oh, behave. Leave it out. There's no ground to the rumor that I intentionally put Vaporeon in 5th to duck any potential allegations. And just let the record show, there is no correlation between me wanting to be Vaporeon and if I were said Pokemon also wanting to be owned by Mr1upz. Huh? Why, what did I say? Wanting to train with Mr1upz, there's nothing wrong with that. Gee, you always have to make it weird, don't you? No, I don't even know who Freudian slip is. Do I sound like the kind of person who's gone to see Hamilton? Sylveon has the right amount of color palette swapping. It's not a random color for the sake of it looking rarer, or like you bought a cursed copy of Pokemon X and Y from the dodgy man down the market who also sells Patrick Star ripping from a bong t-shirts, and your Sylveon looks like some kind of creepy pasta Squidward. It believably looks like it could mutate into this color genetically. Just your classic color reverse. It's simple, but it is highly effective. There's nothing wrong with us manly men for liking a bit of pink gangster colors, and anyone who tells you otherwise is a fed. Sylveon's very polarizing, but us Sylveon fans, we're just comfortable in our own skin, you know? I'd also like to deflect any potential allegations, I'm just gonna cut the legs right from under them, that my ratings for Sylveon also don't correlate with my lust. I mean, like platonic lust. You can have platonic lust, like gym buddy lust for Mr1upz. Alright, let the record show. No further comments. The classic silver Eevee model has a bit of class to it. These things would be selling for big money in the Pokemon world. It'd be like how price-fixed blue staffies are. Awakened into Gear 5. Oh no, Luffy couldn't compete with this. Shiny Eevee's looking like it's covered in gear. A nice Eevee Colombian regional form. Eevee clears a good percentage of all shiny Pokemon. For these forms, it's like a cheat code, making them a silvery white. It's like the opposite of the Nickelodeon slime job. Instead of a assaulting your retinas. It just makes a lot of Pokemon look mythical. Even with anything like your PC, your phone, your Ibanez RG, you take it and you make it a clean white and it almost always bangs. One exception, them crusty white Air Force Ones you've had for 4 years now, and you just can't accept it's time to bin them. Alright, they're beyond the wash, just give it up. But shiny Eevee stays forever fresh, creaseless. It's come a long way from gentrified Rattata. I'm so glad I get to flip an opinion on at least one of the Eevees that I personally think are on the worst side of the Eeveelution family. I fully get why people wouldn't rate Glaceon shiny in the same way they wouldn't like any of the first 3 I mentioned. But the Snow White Glaceon, that's such a small but massive game changer. It's a shiny where you think, why didn't we just roll with this one in the first place? Then just make the shiny one like, I don't know, Christmas colored. No, that's too predictable. We're better than that. Kwanzaa colors. White Glaceon is a nice light touch, and I think it's because it improves the color contrast massively. The snow fur coating on that shiny ice blue is just a lot more satisfying than this refrigerated Vaporeon. Who'd have imagined making Glaceon white and polishing all the blue parts on it like it's a set of dusty gym badges would make for such a comeback. All they needed was to chuck Glaceon in for a quick spin in the Ballo Shino, because these slight changes alone really make the design pop that much more. Or maybe they don't for the rest of you. I'm actually the worst person to be making such opinionated videos. Just how flaky is my brain? Like, I'd still probably have Glaceon being one of my lower ranked Eevees, but it's so much less forgettable for me this way. I don't even need to consult the YouTube analytics to know there's always a spike at the end so people can skip ahead and see who I've rated as the best in these ranked videos. I understand, but to all of you temporary viewers this time, you've wasted your time. Are you lot all dumb? What did you think was going to be at the end? We all know it's Umbreon. Umbreon doesn't just clear the other shiny Eevees, it's an all-time great shiny Pokemon. Espeon and Umbreon really are night and day. Light blue Umbreon goes hard. Neon green Espeon, very limp in comparison. Very floppy, he's like a churro covered in Nutella. Simple, always effective. Although Umbreon has such a creatively intuitive design, you could have just reversed the black and yellow, and it still would have worked really well. But a nice low-key touch-up. The blue goes in. Another win for aesthetic simplicity.